Hi guys, welcome back and welcome to a quick video about importing your own car parts from Japan, in this case to the UK, some of the benefits and maybe a few of the surprises. Excuse the woolly hat and the jumper, it is about -2 over here in the UK, it's absolutely freezing. So this is my package that's just turned up from partsjdm.com, shout out to those guys. Now, as some of you know, I ordered my Honda Acty about 2-3 months ago and it turned up a couple of weeks ago. And while it was traveling over on the boat, I looked around to see where I could get Honda Acty parts from. Now, there's quite a lot of car parts companies in the UK that do import parts and JDM parts, but what I found was that when it turned up, there was actually more parts that I needed that I didn't realise, and actually most of the companies in the UK didn't do all of them. And then I started hunting around to see where I could get my own parts from, and there's a bunch of companies, some in Japan and some in America, that do all the parts from one website. You don't have to buy some from here, some from somewhere else, and you can import them yourself. Now, a couple of the problems that I found was, one, all the companies in Japan, all their websites are in Japanese, but you can click on Google Translate and that translates everything into English. There was a couple of websites that were really complicated. They had like an exploded diagram view of like the whole engine and stuff, and you had to kind of know what part numbers you needed and click on individual parts. And then there was a couple of websites like partsjdm.com that actually did like a kit, so you could get like a timing belt kit which came with everything, a spark plug and spark plug leads kit, which also came with distributor, rotor cap and all that sort of stuff. And for this company in particular, when I messaged him, obviously they're 9 hours ahead, so you tend to get a reply the following day. I had a reply from him in perfect English. He understood everything that I was saying. His grammar was probably better than mine, but that's not saying much. And there were also other websites that were recommended, but also other websites that were not recommended. But partsjdm.com seemed to be really helpful and seemed to be legit. You could also buy the parts through PayPal, because then I thought, well, if the parts don't turn up, I can get my money back really easily through PayPal rather than chasing a credit card company. Now, before I actually pulled the pin on getting these parts from this company, I did actually have another hunt around the UK, and I found as a comparison that all the parts from Japan seem to be either a third or half the price of the parts in the UK. Now, obviously the UK parts, you could probably get them either next day or within 2 or 3 days. These parts, I thought they were going to take maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks, but because the Acty is not really going anywhere and I don't need it for work at the moment, I thought that's fine, I'm in no rush. And then because I wasn't in a particular rush, I then thought, actually, let's go with this. All the parts are going to turn up. There's everything that I need, including some tail lights and some other bits that I didn't really know that I needed. Ordered them all up, pulled the pin, and then they're on their way. Now, a couple of surprises was that actually it said it was going to take about 9 to 10 days to turn up, and it actually took about 8 days to turn up. Now, one thing I was not expecting, which was a bit of a surprise, was from FedEx. So the day before they were due to arrive, I got a message from FedEx saying, well done, all your parts are in. They've cleared customs, but on your behalf, we've paid the duties to speed things along, so you owe us £95. Now, the whole lot, I think, was like 400 quid, which was about half the price, or I thought it was about half the price. So then to get hit with that on top, I then thought, well, now that's not as cheap as I thought it was. So then what I actually did is I went back and I listed everything. Once my package turned up, I listed everything in the kit, everything that I could get in the UK, which was half to 3/4 of it, and then a bunch of stuff that I'd then have to import either from Japan or from a couple of places that do parts in America. Now, obviously, if you order parts from America, you're still going to have to pay import duties on. The parts from Japan, you might have to pay import duties on. A couple of people have said it's a little bit hit or miss, whether it gets flagged up as it goes through customs, whether you have to pay duties on it. But basically, I listed everything from the companies in the UK, added on the bits that I'd have to import, and then the duties just on those bits, and it ended up being about 900 and something pounds. So this in total has ended up costing me £510, I think, including the duties, including the shipping. So it's still nearly half price And instead of waiting what I thought was going to be 2 weeks, it's only ended up being 8 days. And then arguably the bits from the UK might have turned up in 2 or 3 days. But to give you an example, this water pump was part of a water pump and timing belt kit, which came with timing belt, water pump, idler pulley, tensioner pulley, and these drive belts. And the whole lot was £105. The water pump on its own in the UK is 180 quid. The timing belt on its own is 100 quid. These belts are like 30 quid. So everything is so much cheaper. The rear tail lights, all I needed was this indicator because it's all cracked up and smashed. And I think the indicator on its own in the UK is like 45 or 50 pounds. I bought a complete tail light kit for both sides for 19 pounds. And they're all genuine Honda parts. Literally every single thing is genuine Honda. Tracking the parts through FedEx was really easy as well. They literally send you an email of every destination it gets to and an updated list. I think it got dispatched from Japan whenever it was, and then it went to Dubai, and then it went to Belgium, I think, and then it went to Dartford near London. And then it said it was out for delivery, and then got a knock at the door and here were my parts. So yeah, it's been a bit of a learning experience for me as well. Never ordered parts from abroad before. Learned a bit about that as well. A couple of things that I was surprised for the good, a couple of bits that I was surprised at I thought they actually were a bit bad, but it turned out to be all right in the end. And also a massive shout out to partsjdm.com. Thank you, Kenta. Your communication throughout the whole thing has been absolutely spot on. Oh, here's my dad. There you go.
We've got to cut that round there and make it a bit bigger. Right.
Don't get it on the truck, don't want to mess this bed up. And yeah, massive thanks to Kenta from partsjdm.com. Communication has been absolutely spot on. Every time I've left him a message, pretty much like within about 8 or 9 o'clock local time, his time, he's replied with everything that I needed to know and just inspired me with confidence throughout the whole thing. So if you're a bit worried about importing parts, I'm not saying there's not bad companies out there. I can 100% vouch for these guys. They've really looked after me. Go and have a look on their website, see what bits you need, import them. I look forward to putting these parts on the truck, getting it going again, getting on the road. Stay tuned, keep an eye on all my other videos, especially the ones on the Acty, and I'll see you on the next one.